Good morning, Betting Nation. So I had maybe 10 minutes or so before I had to go to Zach's football. So I thought I would do you a little YouTube video as to why I fancy his back to lay on the podcast. So I've done two videos today, one lay to back and one back to lay. Don't forget there is another one on the podcast. So make sure you listen to the podcast. Okay, so how did I get this? So first of all, I went to Ticks back to lay. And so I went, show me horses that have decreased by 50 ticks in the last three races, 100% of the time. So you can obviously change this number to whatever you want. It could be 10 ticks, 50 ticks, 20 ticks, whatever you want. Again, the races, you can go up or down, 1 to 10, and you just press search. What I use this for example, is to find back to lays, but also I do like to do a little strategy, like a 10 tick strategy, which basically where I expect a horse to decrease in price by 10 ticks. And depending on what price range it's in, depending on if it's in between 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, trying to make sure I'm getting the right crossovers, or 4 and 6, it depends on the percentage profit you'll get. So it's a strategy that I quite often do if I'm, if I've got a spare 5-10 minutes, and I'll have a look at these and just it'd be of interest for me. So I went down and I had a look, and I saw my old friend Fearsome. Now I've done this horse loads and loads of other times before on the podcast, and the reason I like this horse is because when he wins, he doesn't drift up too much. So let me show you, for example, here 27s went down to 4.7, decreased by 82. Won the race, so he's won the last 4. 2.6 only went as high as 2.86. Won the race. 2.09 only went as high as 2.2. Won the race. 2.16 only went as high as 2.32. The only one where he didn't that he went up in price a fairly substantial amount was this one here. So 3 of the last 4 runnings, this horse, when he has won, hasn't gone up in price by much at all. So that, first of all, as soon as I saw that running, I thought, hello, I know this one. Now, the one problem here is that Fearsome is held up. And when a horse is held up, not a problem, but then you have to have a look what the other people in the race are doing, what the other favourites are doing in the race. So I go across here, I go across to the races tab. By the way, if you do want to become a member of this software, we open on Wednesday. Only a matter of days, ladies and gentlemen. I'll put a link into the show notes, the waiting list, and you can sign up there. Got 806 or 807 people on the waiting list. That, my friends, is incredible. I really respect each and every single one of you, and I can promise you that I will be doing my utmost to make sure I don't let anybody down, and it is as good as, well, it's as good as what you guys see. Okay, so here, let's sort out by Betfair current price. So we see Fearsome is a favourite, and we see this one is second favourite, Cosmopolitan. Right, so whatever happens to this one will happen to this one. So we've got to be very, very careful here. Now, because this tactics is hold up, and if this was a front runner, then if this was go out in front, it would definitely put pressure on this price to go out, because the pressure would be on Cosmopolitan to come in price. And if the pressure's on Cosmopolitan to go in price, and that's at the back of the field, there'll be pressure on Fearsome to go out in price. So we have to check this one to make sure to see its running style. I can't see, but I already know. The pace here. So the pace graph, we can see here that the pace is 0 for this horse. So that means it's been held up in every single one of its last 3 runs. So let's just double check to make sure the information is correct. Held up, well in touch in rear. Held up in last pair. Held up headway. Held up in last. Held up in 5th. Held up ridden and headway. Held up, basically, held up, slowly away, in touch, close up. So basically, we know what last 10 races have all been held up somewhere on there. And so we look at here, 6.2 down to 2.1. Yeah, that's okay. But look, it won this race, 8.71, and it went as high as 14.5. So that is interesting. Stayed on and never going to be caught. Ease close to home. So even though this horse won ridiculously easy on this occasion, it still went up in price, nearly doubled, not quite, but around about increased in price by 70% or somewhere around 80%, whatever it is, of its Betfair SP. And that's when it won easily going away. So, and we know from the historical data that we have here that this horse travels well. Every single time this horse is always travelling the best in the race. This is why it doesn't go up in price very much. We can see that it must be travelling well, it must be doing something right, it must be going through its race very well. Otherwise, it would go up in price. This horse, apart from that time there, doesn't really go up in price when it wins. And that, for me, is a massive advantage. So let's go across and have a look at it. Last race, 305. It's that one there.
Cap and 3.
And basically, I'll just quickly go through. Adam Kirby as well, got a good record on it. Won the last 3 races on this horse, so knows the horse. This horse has won the last 2 or 3 at Lingfield as well, so that's good. Look, no problem there. There it is, just travelling really, really nicely. And by the way, with my back to lays, I don't have a stop loss. Sometimes the price might bounce around a bit. So yeah, I don't have a stop loss. I'm quite prepared to take it on the chin when we do lose, if we do lose. Look, there we go. Look at that, at work. Lovely, just lovely. On the wide outside, still cantering. That one being bustled on now. There we go. Just say, come on, boy. That's it. Come on, boy. Right, let's be having you now. Come on, let's go and win the race. Come on, go win the race. Come on, boy. Come on, go win the race. Hasn't whipped it yet at all. Hasn't whipped it. Just gone nice and steadily. Joshua, great ride there. Nice and steadily through the race. And yeah, won cosily. Absolutely cosily. Never really actually ever got after the horse because it was always on the bridle and never got a slap to say, come on, boy, let's be having you. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, by the way. Right, so that's the in-play trade. We're going for 30 to 50% trade on that one. Around about 3.1. Lovely jubbly. We'll have that. This horse, there's nothing wrong with it. It's top 3 of the last 5 runnings. However, the good benefit for us, the benefit is that these 2 will be held up. And so there's not different tactics for the 2 market leaders, which for me is a positive. All right, Betting Nation, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I am DMB, and I will speak to you guys soon. Ta-da!